everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Haley and I have been documenting my journey with my triplet baby girls here on YouTube. Today's video is going to be one that has been requested a few times and I'm excited to finally be making this video for you. I've had a few people ask about the sleeping situation of the babies, and the reason that I didn't want to just show it is because it's actually going to be changing. So I wanted to take you guys through the process of updating our girls' sleeping situation. So before we jump into that, I need to do a little bit of explaining about how we started and got to the point where we are now, so that when we get to the end, it kind of makes sense why we are making these changes. So let's go ahead and just dive into today's vlog. Dan and I actually lived in Missouri for all of 2022, and we found out that we were pregnant on Mother's Day last year, actually. And once we found out it was triplets, we knew very quickly that we needed to move back to Minnesota because this is where both of our families live. This is where most of our friends live. We just knew that we needed our village. So even though we had originally planned to live in Missouri a little bit longer than just a year, the circumstances with the triplets had us moving back to Minnesota. So we actually did give birth to the triplets in Missouri, and then after they got out of the NICU, then we moved back home. Sidebar, yes, I know we are absolutely insane for moving across states with newborn triplet babies. It is what it is. It's just how the cookie crumbled, but we did it and we're here now. And, you know, Dan and I did a lot of road trips as children and as adults. Basically our whole lives we've done road trips, so we're just starting the girls extra early. Anyway, back to the stories. When we were originally thinking about moving back, we just assumed that we would be purchasing a home here in Minnesota, but we quickly realized that with just how the market is and trying to buy a house across states is very difficult. Even finding our apartment when we moved to Missouri was harder than we thought it was going to be. It's just hard to do things when you aren't there physically in person. So we were kind of going back and forth about how we were going to make this happen, and my parents very graciously offered for us to live with them. It ended up working out really well because my parents have a finished basement and there's a guest room and bathroom down here. They also have a bar that has a sink set up, a mini fridge, all that good stuff. So it ended up working out really nicely, being able to kind of make the basement our space, kind of like a basement apartment, if you will. Our original plan for how the babies were going to sleep, because we knew that we weren't going to have a lot of room initially, we were kind of planning just in case they needed to stay in our apartment with us. We just didn't have enough room for cribs and that sort of thing. So after a lot of research, we landed on having a twin pack and play and then a halo bassinet. I found a halo bassinet at Once Upon a Child for $60. Still really proud of that. For those of you that don't have Once Upon a Child's near you, it's kind of like Goodwill, or it's more like Plato's Closet, but specifically for baby and toddler and kids clothing and toys and related things like that. So I found a halo bassinet there, and then we had the pack and play. So that was our plan. When we moved here into my parents' house, I had no idea that they still had the crib that I used when I was a baby, but they set that up for us, which ended up being great because the babies did not like the halo bassinet. I don't know what it was. They would sleep relatively fine in the pack and play, but something about the halo none of them liked. So we very quickly ditched that, and in a moment of desperation, we put all three of them in the crib together. Keep in mind they were 5 pounds when we brought them home, so very small. They all fit in the full-size crib, and that ended up being how they have slept for the past 4 months. It has worked really well for us. This is definitely coming from like a vulnerable place of kind of explaining this to you guys, because I know that safe sleep is very important, and if we could have done it a different way, I probably would have chosen to, but circumstances being the way that they were, this is how we had to make it work. And I know that people that have newborns, you know, you go through this phase for a few weeks of just, you're flying by the seat of your pants and you're doing something you've never done before and you're just trying to do your best. And that's what we were doing with our girls. And there's something about twins, triplets, babies that are multiples that they do better when they're together. Even if they don't perceive each other just yet, they sense each other. I truly believe that. And so having them in the crib together, they slept so much better and sounder when they were near each other. And in a perfect world, you know, I would try to keep them as close as possible, but they are just getting to be too big. So we knew that it was time to transition them. They're also starting to roll, and when they roll, you can't have them, or you shouldn't have them in a sleep sack anymore where their arms are, you know, tight to their sides, because if they were to roll over, they aren't able to roll themselves back and it can be dangerous. So we know that the girls are ready to transition. So that brings us to where we are currently. So we made a game plan and we're finally able to enact it. Let me show you where we are currently, like what our room looks like and what the space looks like. So this is the crib that the girls are sleeping in. We had laid down this towel to soak up some spit up from last night, so don't mind that. But this is where they've all been sleeping. They sleep, you know, horizontal, perpendicular, across. I can maybe insert a picture I have from, it's of them in this pack and play, but it's how they sleep in the crib as well. But they're just getting to be too big, as I mentioned, and they really don't want to sleep with their arms swaddled anymore, but if they're out, they just hit each other in the face. So this situation just isn't going to work anymore. So let me show you what our plan is here moving forward. So this space is right outside of our bedroom. You would have seen this in my vlog where I was hanging this bow rack. There's a mirror right here. So back in the day, when I was in high school, this was known as my dance studio space. So right now you can see that it has just become a catch-all spot for various boxes. When Dan and I moved back, it was January in Minnesota, so whatever didn't fit in the storage unit just kind of got dumped in here because it was too cold to figure it out. So we definitely need to organize this space. We need to move. This was the bed that was in the guest room, but it is a full-size bed, and Dan and I have a king, and we much prefer our king, so this needs to find a new home. All of this needs to find a home, all that good stuff. So our thought is that this space will fit 3 mini cribs. And so we need to, like I said, clean out the space. We have been working on doing that, and hopefully we'll get this cleared out soon. The mini cribs that we ordered have arrived. We went with the brand Da Vinci. I found them on Target.com. I could only buy them online, so I'm curious to see what they look like. But we have the 3 mini cribs, the 3 mini mattresses, and once we get this cleared out, we can get them set up and put in there. Say hi, ladies. So Dan actually has today off, so I'm hoping that we can make a good dent in organizing, and then he can bring a bunch of stuff to the storage unit and clear that space out, and then hopefully we can get the crib set up and by this weekend kind of make that transition from the one crib to each of them sleeping in their own mini cribs. We'll see how that goes. Time for the next update. So our dear friends Max and Lauren came over and are helping us move a bunch of stuff out of the basement into the storage unit, and I can't believe how much bigger this space feels without all of these boxes here. So let's take a look. So here's the studio space. If you remember, this corner used to be filled with boxes. That's all cleared. We have lots of recycling that we need to do. We still have the cribs and stuff over here, but now this corner completely cleared. They took all the boxes. So this now is where we're hoping to put that big bed, just so it's out of the way, and then move this dresser. So this is what I came up with. I can't believe how perfectly this shelf fits underneath this bar. So I have our extra formula, some extra wipes, extra diapers, and this is the cooler that we use when we travel with bottles. I don't know what else we'll put down here. We'll kind of see what we think, what would be nice to keep close, but absolutely obsessed with how this worked out. I'm realizing, when do you guys never not see me in a sweatshirt? Anyway, we finished building the cribs. The first crib took us probably an hour to put together. It took forever because the directions were kind of confusing, but once we did it once, we probably got the other two done in under an hour and a half for both of them. We just became more efficient with each one, which is awesome. So let me show you now what the space looks like. It looks so different than how it did before. It's wild. So this is the space. We decided to go with like a little U. These are very easy to move, so if we decide that this doesn't really work, we'll switch them around. But because they're so mini small, they do not actually take up a lot of space in this room. We then also moved this new dresser over here, so this will be their new changing space, which will just be nice because changing them in the middle of the night before, you know, we were taking them all the way from the bedroom all the way over here and then going into the light, it would just wake them up. So being able to, you know, pick them up right from here to there, I think will make a big difference. It is a little bit chilly down here in this corner, so I have a heater running, but I just plugged in the heater, their sound machine. I just love now how this space looks. I do think that I want to put something on this wall, partially because now we have this huge empty space here, but also with less furniture, it's so echoey over here and it just feels a little cold. I think it would be fun to just put a little art on the walls. I don't want to buy a whole lot because this isn't our space. I don't want to be like poking holes in the walls and that sort of thing, but we will be here for, you know, the next few months. And like I said, the echo in here, kind of wild. It would be nice to just fix the acoustics in here a little bit. I'm also excited, we just got in the mail their new swaddles. Right now they are in halo swaddles with the Velcro that keeps our arms down. They are ready to have their arms out, maybe not full out. So I found, this is called the transitional swaddle sack. So I don't know if you can tell by this picture, their arms get to be like out, but still held close to their body. And then you can unroll the sleeves. Oh, on the back it shows the options. So you can see the reflection of my phone screen, but you get the idea. They can have their arms all the way in, and then you can slowly unroll the cuffs. They want their arms out of the swaddle so bad. They love to sleep like this, all of them. So I think they're gonna really like those swaddles. So a lot of transitions will be happening this weekend. I have to admit, I'm a little bit sad about moving them. Sad in kind of a happy way. It just means that they're growing up, and as a mom and as a parent, you want your kids to grow up and it's so exciting, but it's like, where's the time going? A little bit. So I'm a little bit sad about moving them. It might take a few days to get used to it. Like I said, I think they're really gonna like it. I will probably update you guys in another video about how actually transitioning them goes, because I have a feeling this video is already gonna be so long. So I'll break that up into a different video, but I just wanted to show you guys how this space looks now. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video and asking questions. It was really fun to make this video for you guys and answer your questions about what their sleeping situation looks like. It also kind of lit the fire under our butts that Dan and I needed to go ahead and just buy the cribs and, you know, get this transition going for them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye.